Hello and welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central. I am Gil Ingles, and with me today I have a man that I consider to be a star maker. This brother is basically taking the God-given talent to play, the God-given talent to instruct, the God-given talent to inspire, and he has put it to use. And he's one of the most influential sports figures in the DMV area. Diaspora, stand up, because Mr. Doles, or Mr. Warren Doles, Mr. Basketball DMV, Mr. DMV Basketball Academy is in the building. Doles, welcome to Diaspora Central.
What's up, man? Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. We're glad to have you here, man. We're happy to have you here. We're glad to have you take some time out of your schedule to talk to us today and kind of go over everything that you got going on, brother. You're looking great, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. You're trying to stay in shape, man, to chase these basketballs and these cows around the court. You know they
Yeah,
talk trash every now and then, so I gotta be able to deliver.
look. You see me, right? I made sure that I wore a shirt that is tighter than normal, so I don't look. Cause I know you boys, man.
No mercy.
You boys have no mercy for nobody, man. So I make sure that I'm good.
Right.
Yeah, Warren Doles, man, big time
Yes, sir.
inspirator,
I
basketball
appreciate it.
coach, the man who gives a chance to the new generation, the man who ensures that our youth is not lost. Brother, let's talk
Absolutely.
about you, your background. Where did that start? Where were you born?
Oh man, I was born in Washington, D.C., man,
Hmm.
at Georgia Avenue.
Yeah.
There it is. So I'm a Washington. I'm a Washingtonian. You know, we moved to Virginia early,
Right.
but I was born at Walter Reed Hospital on Georgia Avenue,
Hmm.
Washington D.C.
And that's where you were basically raised, also, right?
Bro, I
No,
was
you were
I
raised
was
in Virginia, basically.
yeah, raised in
Right.
Arlington, Virginia.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
sir.
you are true Arlington baby. I mean, DC is your place of birth, but Arlington is really home for you.
Arlington's where everything went down.
Yeah. Now, a family of how many? Let's talk a little bit about the family, because in this show, we get a chance to document the history of individuals such as yourself that actually make this diaspora a great place to be in. And let me explain what I mean by that. See, I know you for more than goodness gracious, brother. We go 30 years now.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts.
And
Absolutely.
and for 30 years, you have always been involved in things that entailed your heritage, that made sure that your heritage was in place. You always valued that. And I don't mean that just from the fact that, okay, I'm dealing with Africans and this and that. No, I'm talking even from the aspect of ensuring that your next door neighbor is good, and that your neighbor's neighbor is good, that everyone that
Absolutely.
comes in contact with you is good. And that takes a lot out of a man, right? And,
Absolutely.
and by a lot, I mean that prior to you having that lot, somebody had to put that lot in you,
Absolutely.
right? And these are the
Absolutely.
individuals that we want to find out right now who they were. Who were these individuals that made you this great figure that you are today? So we want to talk a
Man.
little bit about the parents, the brothers, the sisters, the siblings, if any, the friends,
Absolutely.
and all that other stuff. So,
Oh man.
yeah,
Woo.
let's start with
Hey.
family, parents.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, growing up, just like your family, the only thing that I ever seen was my mother, father going to go work every day. My grandfather,
Right.
they got up every morning and went to work.
There you go.
So that was instilled in me. You know, when I
Mhm.
first came out the womb, there
Right.
was no excuses. And, 365. 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
You get up and go to work. If you don't work, you don't eat.
There you
So
go.
that was instilled in me as a young child,
Right.
man. And my father, man, he grinded hard, man, and worked his way up at the post office. And when he retired,
Hmm.
he did very well for himself there.
Right.
But that guy always went to work, and it was just something I was like, wow, this is what life is about. You got to go to work to
Right.
eat. You got to work,
Hmm.
and the same thing with my grandparents because we would have to go there
Right.
after school and at night while my parents were working. My grandfather went to work every morning.
Got you.
When he came home in the afternoons, we knew we had to get up out of his chair. And we had to turn to Channel 7 News and be quiet while he eating his food. And
Right.
after he finished eating, we go get our food.
There you go.
That's how it is what it is.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
those are my
discipline.
inspirations, man.
Yeah, that's discipline and respect, right? That's discipline and
Absolutely.
respect right there. Knowing to respect the elders, give them the right respect, and therefore you'll be able to do the same thing. Now, these are things, and these influential figures right there. So it looks like pops, grandpas, and grandparents, parents and grandparents kind of became a major influence in you. And
Absolutely.
so at that point, you start to go to school. Kind of name the schools that you went to very briefly.
Wow, went to Drew Elementary School, Drew School, Long Branch, and high school. Went to Washington Lee High School, where we're on this shoulder over here.
Right.
Went to Washington Lee High School.
There you go.
Where I was able to play football, basketball, and baseball. Became a Hall of Famer in all three. So it was a good life, man. Good life growing up, man, and doing the things I was able to do at such a young age.
Yeah. Now, at what point did you realize that you had the talent for sports, man?
Oh wow, that was early, man. That was early. Cause I was one of those kids had a bad attitude.
Got you.
So even my best friend, you talking about, hey, make sure the neighbor is good. My best friend,
Right.
Boogie, lived across the street from me, and that's my guy still to this day.
Yeah.
But on the basketball floor,
Right.
man, I told him a few years ago, I said, man, I don't know how you still buddies with me, man, because I knew I was an a-hole. It was I was just me. I was just a dog when I'll be on the floor, no friends. When we finish, we can laugh and we can giggle, but on the court, man, I'm not doing that. I'm trying to beat your head in.
Men took no prisoners, had no mercy.
Prisoners, man. Yeah, that was. I had that conversation with him. He just laughed, man. He just laughed about it. I'm like, man, I don't know how you. I just don't know how you still be my friend.
Yeah.
I try to trip you, man. I'm hitting you with elbows. This is basketball now.
Right.
But I was.
But you were going for anything. You just wanted to win.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just wanted to win, man. By any means necessary.
Right. Now, anyone in the family that was already kind of into sports, or that kind of pushed you in that direction, maybe?
Well, I was always playing, again, all three sports growing up, but my uncle, Mark Hicks, played at Wakefield High School.
Okay.
And so I was able to watch him play the sport in high school.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, all right, let's get it. So I'm next man up. I always thought I'm the next man up. I got to keep this thing going.
Right. That sense of family responsibility, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's right. Always on your shoulders. You know that when it comes your time to carry it, you got to be able to carry it with pride and carry it well, so that you can pass it on to the next person well. Now,
absolutely.
Yeah. So eventually, you are this guy, all-star, right? Fame, girls.
Yeah, had a couple of those. But we sit up in the seat going out.
I just kind of wanted to turn up the heat a little bit to make sure that we get you in position, because after all, this is Diaspora Central, and if we're gonna talk about everything around here. Yeah, yes, but in school though, any teachers that were the one that sort of kind of made that mark on you by actually inspiring you or even pushing you harder to become better?
I had Mr. Green, who was my industrial arts teacher at Thomas Jefferson Middle School, and he was my basketball coach.
Okay.
And he was a big influence on me, man.
Yeah.
Stayed on me, but still allowed me to be who I was.
There you go.
Taught me a lot of life lessons along the way. And when he walked around, he always had a little look on his face, a little growl look on his face, so. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm used to this, huh? Hey, my family, we dogs, so I'm gonna ride with you, Mr. Green. Let's just make this thing happen. So he was an influence on me, man. And I go back to my junior high school days. I would definitely say that. Yeah. And playing with little football back in the day, little youth football. I had several coaches back then. Yeah. That stayed with me and helped mold me. So many of them I don't want to leave out, but I always remember Coach Fox. He was one of the. He's still actually out there with the youth today.
Oh wow!
But he was the one. He's on my Facebook now, so we communicate every now and then via Facebook.
Yeah.
But he was an influence on me, man. A smaller stature guy. But he meant what he said, and he knew what he was talking about.
There you go.
So it was easy to play for someone like that and to run through a wall for somebody like that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm missing a couple of others, but that's the first one off the top of my head.
Yeah, definitely. As we talk and you remember them, you can go ahead and throw their names in. One of the things that I believe that helps a lot build character, especially in communities like the ones that we grew up in, is the fact that that era was so solid in attempting to become self-sufficient.
Absolutely.
That it was, I mean, it was inspiring in itself. I mean, those cats, they wanted us to understand that we didn't have to depend on anyone to get anything done, that we all could do anything within ourselves. We could create anything within our environment and be successful at it. Because
absolutely.
And I mean, it's I don't know if it's still the same thing today. I kind of see some differences.
Yeah, it's a little different, man.
Yeah.
We got parents, we have younger parents, I would say, and we have those parents trying to be friends instead of parents.
Right. So it changes the dynamics a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The kids are trying to lead the family, and the parents are sitting back and allowing it to happen, and it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts the kids. It stomps their growth. When they get out into the world, they don't know that they need to treasure their queens.
Right.
They want to put their hands on their queens.
Yeah.
They want to curse them and, call them the B words and the N words and all of that.
Yeah.
Even today, I don't use those words. And while I'm training these guys, when they use those words, I step up and say, don't ever use that word again in my gym.
Exactly.
You're supposed to be better educated as a person to be able to formulate different words to get your points across than to use, especially those two words.
Indeed.
I just don't deal. I can't deal with those two words. That B and that word.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't get with it. I still can't get with it. And rap music, I don't listen to rap because of that. Unless it's the clean version, I just don't.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't get with it, man.
Yeah.
That's not how I was raised.
Yeah. No, definitely. Now, at one point, I guess you get inspired to actually start teaching others. So let's take a quick break before we get into it, because we want to talk now into that stage in which you start to find that inspiration to start to lead and teach others the little bit that you have led. If you have just joined us, you are tuned into Diaspora Central, and my guest today is Mr. Warren Doles, and he is part of the DMV Basketball Academy. That's Mr. Basketball Dribbler, Mr. Basketball jumping hoops and all that. Don't mess with this cat, because when it comes to being in shape and shooting that ball, according to him, he's got it. I never played against him, fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, because so I can probably talk trash, but if I talk too much trash, he's definitely gonna post me the next time we're together. But anyway, we're going to
get on out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but let's go into this break real briefly and take a look at some of the images of those doing what he does well. We'll be right back.
Come on. Finish it. Get that, Kai. Get that, Kai. Come on, work. Shot. Good pass. Come on, got a minute 45, minute 45. Go, push it.
And we are back. If you have just tuned in, you are now listening and watching Diaspora Central. And my guest today is Mr. Doles, Mr. Basketball holder, Mr. Basketball shooter, Mr. Football thrower, Mr. Football catcher, Mr. Baseball bat swinger, Mr. Baseball catcher? Goodness gracious. Mr. Everything that is physical in sports. Let's give it up for DMV Basketball Academy's man, Warren Doles. Welcome to Diaspora Central, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me.
Brother,
sure.
It's definitely a pleasure, man. Now, you are a man who is actually, at one point, you all-star everything, and that sense of giving back, of nurturing, of inspiring other players had to start to come on to you, because eventually that's what you end up doing. At what point in your career did that start? When did that click and you were like, you know what, I need to start coaching, assisting, etc.?
Well, I had to go back again. It started back in high school. I would have to say it started back in high school.
Okay.
Just watching some of the older guys playing.
Yeah.
And them giving back to me.
Okay.
So I knew it was going to be my responsibility to have to give back to the community as I grew a little older. My guy Eric Steele that played over at Wakefield High School was a dog, man, football field, man.
Yeah.
Catch that thing, man. I don't care what kind of pass it was. He did this thing. He went to college, ended up going to Norfolk State, did the same thing there, then had, trial for the Redskins. He was just a dog. So I knew if I was going to be anybody
right,
that people were going to respect when it came to sports, then I was going to try to be that guy.
There you go.
Be better than that guy. And he was one of the people, besides my uncle who played basketball at Wakefield High School.
Gotcha.
Those two, I would say, were my biggest motivators.
Yeah.
To get to the next level and to be able to play the sport at a high level.
Yeah. So you went on and you played your way all the way through college, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Played in college, played a little bit after college. So consider myself a pro. Got a couple of coins for playing the sport.
There you go.
So life is good. Life is good.
Yeah, and then you come back to the area where you actually grew up, and you start to. At what point does Doles decide that, you know what, I need to start doing something to inspire these young cats coming up? Or what exactly triggered that? I guess that's what we really need to start.
Well, after I finished playing, there were always younger kids around.
Yeah.
And I thought I was pretty good at teaching them the fundamentals of the game. So at some point I said, you know what, let me start this basketball academy. And it just took off.
Yeah.
It took off. I started out with young kids, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids. And it really took off when I caught it with my guy that I went to college with, Haywood Highsmith Sr. His son was a senior in high school at the time.
Okay.
And I went to go see him play in Baltimore. And I said, okay, the kid can boogie a little bit. He got some skills.
Yeah.
And then he went to college, and he went to Wheeling Jesuit, which is a Division II school. And I was, his parents allowed me to put my hands on him.
Gotcha.
and try to help him out.
Yeah.
Become the big, great basketball player that he is today. So I would say he was probably my first. And he actually played with the 76ers, got his 2-way contract a month into the season.
Boom.
Doing did very well for the 2 seasons, and then didn't know if they were going to have a season this year, so he opted to go over to Germany to play.
Gotcha.
But I always got to give him credit because he took me to the next level. I always say, we help kids, but he helped me.
Right.
And we grew together, and that's still my guy to this day.
There you go.
So then I had a couple of more players from this team come. Pat Mose and Dre Goddard, they came in, and then the last one I had was Brent, who's a senior now.
Yeah.
And all of those guys, end up with first team all conference. Haywood was All American. So all of those kids that I was able to put my hands on, end up doing great things.
Right.
And then from that, then I had a couple of more college guys that played at Shepherd University that came along, AJ and Seth.
Yeah.
And those 2 guys, after that summer, they went back and they, got honors for doing their thing. So that told myself that I'm supposed to be here.
Right.
This is what I'm supposed to do.
Right. Now,
go ahead.
Yeah. No. What I was gonna say is that at some point, I guess you really got to a point where you started to understand the value of actually spending the time, the summertime or the off season time, practicing, ensuring that the skill level was definitely good, because in a normal instance, most kids think that they should only play when season is on, right? After the season is off, it's like, okay, it's time to do everything else but practice. But right, and you kind of started to, I guess, disciplining them to actually turn that into not just something that you do when you're trying to have fun or when you're supposed to, but yet something that you are trying to do to better yourself and become the best at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Now,
the summertime is where all the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
When you get back to school, or back to training camp, or go overseas wherever you're going to play,
Mm-hmm.
that's supposed to be fun.
Right.
The summer is when you put that hard work in.
The
summer is where you're going to be molded to become great, to become the player that you want to be in any sport that you want to play. So the summers are the most important times. And I, like to tell kids they need to be in the gym. You just can't come to me, once a week or once a day and think you're going to be great. You need to live in that gym, man. You need to sacrifice a few things to be great. And if you want to be great, make that sacrifice and invest in yourself early. And stay in that gym. And get that work in, man. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
You become great. The kids that do it, you see the changes, you see the growth.
Indeed.
You see how good they become. The kids that don't do it, the coaches know when you don't work when you get back to college.
Right. Now, one more thing that I kind of want you to touch on, and that is nutrition, right? The importance of nutrition in this entire process, because as someone who has who has great skill, right? The lack of nutrition can sometimes become a deterrent, because that could somewhat result in probably even injury, because you don't have your body, I guess, nutrition well enough to sustain the intensity that the game requires, right? So talk a little bit about nutrition and the importance of it.
Man, nutrition is very important. You can't go out here and eat and go to McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King. Great thing, I just had a conversation with Haywood last week. And I said, I think, this is your third year going on pro. Your body's changing. You're getting older. Mm-hmm. So I think you should invest in a nutritionist. And his first response was, man, I'm not in shape. I'm not fat. I'm saying, no, I'm not saying that you're any of that. I'm just saying that your body's going to change and you should invest. Put that money that you're making back into your body. And you'll see the development. You'll see your body changing. You'll see the six packs coming just from what you're eating, and the workout that you put in while you're eating that food. It's not just the food that you eat, but the work that you put in while you're doing it as well. But nutrition is very important, and you can't go out here and just eat junk and think you're going to perform at the highest level, because your body's going to break down at some point.
Indeed. Now, in the process of your career, also, you kind of also in the process of your career, also, you started to kind of scout, right? To see some of the best in the game that were coming to you, and you were actually putting them on to better opportunities. For the kids who are out there and are trying to get into it, in a small, very brief explanation of what you do and what it is necessary to make it, to be passed on into that next level, what would you say to them?
Well, I always say it's a lot of kids that name chase. They go after the big AAU program names. They want to go to the best, high school. And there's nothing wrong with that. But those schools are not for everybody. Mm-hmm. So it's about the relationships that you build. The relationship that you and I have, we're going on 30 years now, and we're still here. So I was able to build those relationships during the time that I was playing and out of school now. So those kids don't have to go to those powerhouse AAU programs. They don't have to go to those powerhouse high school teams, Catholic schools, and parents spending thousands of dollars. High school, they're spending college scholarship money while you're in high school. It's about you putting in the work. If you put in the work, I'm going to make the phone call for you.
There you go.
And that phone call is going to get you 90% of the time a full ride to go to somebody's school to go play basketball, baseball, football, wherever it is. But you got to put in the work first, because you only get one shot with some of these coaches. Coaches used to call and say, "Hey man, I got one scholarship left, man. Who you going to give it to?" You know, and I'm like, hey, you gonna give me a scholarship and I can pick the player? You know, so you only get a few of those. And, and then when you mess up or it's a bust, it's over. So it's the chance that you're taking. So I tell these kids, I'm not going to lie to a coach for you because that's a relationship that I'm going to have way after you're gone. So put that work in, and then I'll make sure that where you want to get to, as long as you put the work in.
Yeah. So basically, on the basic terms is, make sure that you stay in the gym, make sure that you practice, make sure that you put in the work, right?
Put the work in and your grades.
And the grades, of course.
My grades were, I say I had a 2.5 coming. It's not bad. It's an average.
Right.
I was an average kid.
Right.
But college want to see that. They want to see you excel in the classroom.
Indeed.
They're investing $50,000 a year on you, $200,000 over 4 years. So their job is on the line as well.
Yeah.
So you got to put that classwork in and put that work in on the court. And if all those things come together, I'll make sure that you'll have an opportunity to at least walk in and have workouts for coaches. And once you get, it's up to you to get what you're going to get out of it. I can walk you through the door, but I can't get out there and perform. So I take a lot of pride in that.
Right.
And making sure these kids at least have that opportunity to get in front of some coaches.
Gotcha. Now, one topic that is sort of controversial, which is the payment to NCAA players, right? What's your take on it?
You got to pay these guys. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry that they're in. They're getting paid millions of dollars because they have a kids come to their school for 1 year and they're selling this kid's merchandise, but he can't go out and work.
Yeah.
You know, it's 40 hours playing basketball. Basketball, it's a job when you get there.
Right.
So when people say, oh, you got a full ride, I have a full ride, but I have to do way more than you do as an average student.
Right.
If I'm going to be great in the classroom and on the basketball court.
Right.
So I think they need to pay these kids something. I'm not saying you give them $50,000, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But if you're selling merchandise, they should at least be able to get a percentage of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids are coming from families that can't afford
Indeed.
to even send them money to go to school. Can't afford to send them lunch money.
Indeed.
So these kids need that cash.
Right. And another thing that I guess today probably even becomes more important is not only for their sweat equity, but also for the name that they really end up building. I think they should have some sort of equity within that brand, in my personal opinion, because after all, they making major brands out of some of these kids' names without the ability. So there's got to be some middle ground in there somewhere to ensure that both are satisfied, because I mean, at the end of the day, we do want these companies to succeed, but on the same note, we want to ensure that these players are paid fairly or treated fairly, right? Because
absolutely,
try to break us very briefly what a schedule of a athlete student would be like.
Ooh, in college.
Yeah.
Man, it depends on what school you go to, but a lot of schools, want to practice first thing in the morning. So you might have to get up at 5, 6 o'clock, and, be there for a couple of hours, then go to class, go to lunch, go to study hall.
Yeah.
You got to go get your weights in.
Right.
Then you're back on the floor. So you're getting home at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Right. So you basically, you pretty much had a 12 to 14 hour day. Easy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And some coaches like kids to, complete their classes by 12 o'clock in noon during the day. But then after that, you're in the gym. You're not going to leave the gym to 6, 7 o'clock, depending on what you're doing. You still got study hall because coaches got to make sure you graduate. Yeah. If you're a great coach, you want to make sure that,
Indeed.
We go to some schools, your kids going to be one and done. You just make sure they stay eligible. So you're going to have people around making sure that they get their work done or help them with their work or do their work. But, if you get a kid, you got to go to study hall. After that, you got to lift weights. You got to eat. You got to get on the practice floor.
Yeah.
So then it's 9 again, it's late. So what you going to do when you get home? Great athletes, when you get home, is just not, you just can't do that work in the gym. You get home, you still got to do your push-ups, your sit-ups, your crunches. There's other things you got to do. Then you got to ice yourself down.
Right.
Then you got to eat again. If you got a girl, you got to give her some attention.
Right.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot put on these athletes, man. And the mental health I'm glad that they're speaking of this now a lot more, because mental health with these particular, not just athletes, but I'm an athlete, so mental health with these athletes is way larger. The picture is way larger than what the average person knows.
Right. So there's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure. These scholarships are 1 year scholarships. Usually y'all got a 4-year scholarship for $200,000. No, that's 1 year. Wow. If you don't do well, the coach is going to be like, I don't want to bring you back.
Wow.
So what are you going to do then?
So it's
not guaranteed.
Yeah, so you're under pressure of probably losing that at any point in time if you slip up. That in itself, it's pressure enough to make a weak person crack, because
absolutely
right. It's at some point and that's probably the reason why many kids just become paralyzed once they get to that stage, and things go south from that point on. Now, if there is one tip that you had to give parents of children who have that talent or that want to follow that, what would that advice be? What would that tip be to the parents?
Enjoy the ride. There are so many parents out here that think they're the referees, think they're the head coaches, that have never stepped on the basketball court. They just think they know everything, but they're missing the point that enjoy your child. Right. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the game. Yeah. Don't get caught up in my son's friend, he's going to Duke, and my son doesn't have any offers. Right. There's a reason why your son doesn't have any offers. But try to find the path that's best for him. Everyone's path is different. Yeah. So enjoy the ride. And these parents have taught me with my youngins that hopefully I'm able to sit back and enjoy the ride, and don't harass your kid right after a game about what they didn't do, why they did this. Let the kids, let them go. They're already beat up inside because they didn't perform well. Right. So don't get into the car and then you just start jabbing them right away. Right. Sit back, relax. If your kid wants to talk about it, he's going to say something to you. And at that point, talk about it. Yeah. But it's life. Just don't bang on the kid because he played poor.
There you go.
You're going to have those days.
Yeah.
Going to have those days, so enjoy the ride, man. That's my best advice. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, so
enjoy the ride.
Indeed. So basically, take those L's as lessons.
Yeah. That's all they are, man. You don't lose, you learn. You learn from that.
Okay. Now, for kids who actually want to get into your summer program, what exactly would they need to do? Give us some of your social media information and anything that they would need in order to take part of your program.
Right. Well, I'm blessed because I'm over at the Athletic Republic in District Heights, Maryland. I joined forces with them, went over there. They asked me to do a few things, and all of a sudden we need you in the building. So I'm the head pro player development coach at the Athletic Republic in District Heights, Maryland. Okay. So you can reach me there. On IG is DMV _basketball _academy. And on Twitter is DMV BB Academy. Okay. Facebook the same, DMV Basketball Academy. Right. So just reach out to me. Even I say advice because we do assist kids with getting to college. So if you have any questions or anything like that, or need some assistance, as long as don't send me something. If your kid is not good, right? And I have to say this word. I'm sorry. My wife hates when I use it. Right. But if your kid sucks, don't send me footage saying your kid is a Division I basketball player, because in your mind, like my mom thought I was the greatest thing, and she still does to this day. Right. I'm the greatest thing that ever was born, according to my mom. But at some point, realize if this is not for your kid, he can go play checkers or chess. There you go. They have those clubs in college. Indeed. These boys take no mercy, man. No mercy, man.
No prisoners in this game, boy. Wow. Yeah, man. Any shout outs that you would like to give, Doles?
Man, look, shout out to you.
Yeah, thank
Rich,
you, sir.
The fam as usual, man.
Indeed.
Athletic Republic.
Yeah.
They're on AR Capital Region. Please look us up, man. We have professional football, basketball. We have everything. We have volleyball. We have everything. Right. Everything at our facility we have. And we're looking to grow, so hopefully we're able to go to a few different states and build some more of those facilities.
There you go.
We got 100,000 square feet over there, man. We're doing great things. And,
there you go.
We're blessed.
And that's for basically basketball, football, and baseball.
No. I was at basketball.
Just
We do
basketball.
training for everything. So we even have track.
Okay.
So
yeah,
we have track. We have volleyball. We have a volleyball club over there. Of course, basketball and football.
Yeah.
So whatever, if you want to get bigger, faster, stronger, we have the professional trainers for whatever sport that you indulge in, that you play.
Gotcha.
We have professional trainers over there that's going to get you ready for that particular sport.
There you go.
We take no prisoners over there.
There
Come
you go.
work.
Yeah.
Come work.
But at the end of the day, staying fit is one of the most important things that a person can do for themselves.
Absolutely. Stay fit, man. You know, whatever it is, whatever that means to you, just stay fit.
Right. All right. Doles, we appreciate your time. We know that you got to run because you actually have to be right at the academy to get some of these young men ready for our next season.
I'm out of here. I appreciate you, man. Much
yes,
love,
sir.
man.
Likewise. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And blessings on your show, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, man. Hopefully this is one of the many that we're going to do together. And remember, the Diaspora Central is the home where you can reach out to us at any point in time. We'll be more than glad to showcase anything that you got going on, because at the end of the day, if we don't do it for ourselves, who will?
Absolutely. I appreciate you. And watch us on ESPN, Kings of MEC.
Yes, sir.
Underground Kings for the TBT. We'll be on ESPN trying to get this $2 million this year as well.
All right, there we go. Let's get those $2 million. Yeah, you know that after that, I just need a $2 bill, brother, signed by all of you guys, and I'll be good. Yes, sir. All right, man. Hey, I love you, Doles, man. Thank you, brother.
I love you too, man. I appreciate you.
All right, yes, sir.